Welcome to Lesson 2. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain Havikhurst's theory about child development. In this course, you will be introduced to various theories. Many students feel intimidated by learning about theories and theorists. They imagine them as very abstract and scientific, and therefore a bit out of reach. In fact, looking at and studying theorists is a wonderful way to come to grips with and understand a certain field of study better. So, are you ready to explore Havikhurst's ideas? Imagine that you have to travel through a thick forest. You might feel terrified even to enter this forest on your own. You would probably look for a guide who has traveled through it before and knows the paths. The guide will know how to get you safely to the other side and will help you survive all the dangers you face on the way. Now, development psychology can seem like a thick forest. However, theorists can act as your guides or helpers through this forest. An American scientist, Robert Havikhurst, divided the human lifespan into 6 periods. He believed that human development is a process where individuals attempt to learn the tasks required of them by the society in which they live. Developmental tasks define healthy, typical development of people. If a person succeeds in learning the tasks of one stage, then this leads to greater chances of success in learning the tasks of the next stage. On the other hand, failure to learn the tasks of one stage leads to greater difficulty learning the tasks of later stages. Havikhurst distinguished between 3 kinds of tasks. Firstly, tasks that arise from physical, such as learning to walk, learning to talk, control of bowel and urine, behaving appropriately with the members of the opposite sex, and so forth. Secondly, tasks that arise from personal values, for instance, choosing an occupation and figuring out your own philosophical outlook. Lastly, tasks that have their source in the pressures of society, like learning to read, learning to be a responsible citizen, etc. For your practice activity, you must read the lists of Havikhurst's developmental tasks for children and adolescents. He also developed lists for early childhood, that's from 18 to 35 years, middle age, 35 to 60 years, and later life, that would be 60 plus. For this lesson though, we will only be discussing child development. You will find these lists later under the practice activities section of your course. Havikhurst's theory is only one of a number of theories that see development happening in stages. These theories offer us ways of understanding human development, but we must always bear in mind the dangers that come with a one-size-fits-all approach. This is why Havikhurst's way of distinguishing 3 different types of tasks is helpful. Certainly, the tasks that arise from values and society might not be the same in all cultures, or might not happen in the same age period. So, for example, in different cultures, people might be expected to achieve personal independence at a later stage than 6 to 12 years. Alternatively, they might be expected to prepare for marriage from a younger or older age than 12 to 18 years. The other element to bear in mind about stage theories is that they make it seem as if people move completely naturally from one stage to another. While this may be the case in relation to aspects of physical maturation, it certainly is not true in relation to culture and values, where society plays an important role. Even physical maturation is affected by social and economic factors such as nutrition. We were all children once upon a time, so we all have first-hand experience of the topic of child development. Therefore, begin by thinking about yourself as a child and about your own development. What adjectives would you use to describe your experience of childhood and why? At what age did you stop being a child? How were you different as a child from what you are as an adult? What were the most difficult aspects of childhood for you? Who were the most important adults to you? What did they think about raising children? Who were your most important friends, and what did you do together? Now, deepen your analysis of your childhood experience by thinking about how different your childhood would have been if you had been born 100 years earlier. How different would it have been if you had been born the opposite sex? Every person is different, but you will find that we all agree on the following. Our experience of childhood depends on many different factors. Some of the factors you may have noted are the following: your inherited characteristics, that you were born with, your socio-economic circumstances, your family, your community, your race, class, and gender, the historical context or particular time of your birth and upbringing, the physical environment you grew up in. Moreover, you may have noted that while these factors affected you, you also affected them. For example, your family affected you, but you also affected your family. Children change their world at the same time as it changes them. And we say that influences on development are bidirectional.